Hey everyone, it's Updog here, and today I've got an Envoy exclusive video for you. Now, I am going to be covering the kit of another new character from the Hellfire team. If you didn't see Azazel's kit, Dorky Dad covered that yesterday. But today I am going to show you all about Rachel Summers over here. So we're going to go over a little bit about her lore from the comics, and then we will go over her kit. We'll see if that kit kind of, incorporates what she's all about here. Now, as you can see here, she is incorporated with the Phoenix Force in the comics, and based on the kit, and I haven't got to play with her and the team, the Hellfire team, yet on the test server, but it doesn't appear that the Phoenix Force is going to be part of her in the game, I guess. So we'll have to see once we get a hold of the actual team and get a hold of her to see if there's any kind of animations that are kind of hinting towards her having the Phoenix Force. And maybe that's intentional because, we have the Phoenix Force team as well. Maybe we'll get a Rachel Summers version of her at the first of 2026. It was February when Omega Red Phoenix Force came out. So I'm thinking probably every February, maybe late January, something like that, we will get a new member of that Phoenix Force team, just like they promised, kind of like the Undying team has gotten a member every once a year. So we'll see how that all plays out, but I'm excited to cover her. So let's go over a little bit of her lore. She's got a long list. I only knew just a tiny bit about her before I was given this opportunity to reveal her kit. So we're going to go over just a little bit about her, and then we'll see how her kit kind of translates into the game here. So Rachel Summers is the daughter of Jean Grey and Mr. Cyclops himself. God. So she inherited her mother's psychic abilities. She has a high level of telepathic and telekinetic abilities, and thanks to the power of the cosmic entity known as the Phoenix. So, like I said, yeah, in the comics she does have the Phoenix Force. It doesn't look like she does in the game, but again, we'll see. Rachel was brought to the... Yeah, she's got a lot of time traveling to the past, to the future in her stories. Very powerful level mutant. She does take on the identity Marvel Girl, which is what Jean Grey also goes by. So kind of keeping up the tradition from her, just like her mom. But her association with the Hellfire Club, I'll get into that since she's part of that team, Marvel Strike Force here. So let's see here. At some point, Jean Grey was tragically killed in a terrorist act carried out by Mastermind. The incident was used to push an anti-mutant agenda by the government. Matters escalated when the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants assassinated the anti-mutant politician Senator Kelly. So if you've seen the X-Men movies, you're pretty familiar with him. And the ensuing outrage rendered the X-Men fugitives. A mutant registration act further resulted in mutant hunting machines known as Sentinels. So obviously we have the Sentinels in the game. So the Sentinels taking over the country to implement absolute control and surveillance over the mutant population. Widespread public paranoia against mutants led the military to launch a devastating attack on the X-Men school, exterminating many of the X-Men, Rachel Summers' very family. So, during the raids against the X-Men, Rachel Summers was subdued and captured. She was initially manipulated by the members of the Hellfire Club, specifically the Shadow King. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize the Shadow King was part of the Hellfire Club too. But managed to resist their macabre actions. At some point, she was tortured and brainwashed in the laboratory of the sadistic cyborg Ahab, and following extensive behavior modification, she became a mutant hound forced to use her psionic powers to hunt down other mutants for the authorities. So, that's kind of her association with the Hellfire Club. Thought it was interesting choice that they made here. I'll be interested to see. We are going to be having a meeting with the devs on the team. So once we are able to share some of the information from that meeting, I will maybe make a video on that. And yeah, we'll see what we can share and what we can't share. But I'll be interested to be asking some questions like, what led to the choice of Rachel being on this team? Was it a Marvel-driven thing? Was it somebody on the dev team? So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So let's get into her kit real quick. Gotta find it. There it is. All right. So Rachel, she is a hero. I believe she's probably the only hero on the Hellfire team. And Global Mutant Blaster makes sense. Hellfire and Immortal X-Men. Interesting tag here. We'll get into that here in a second. So, let's go over her passive real quick. I like to start with the passives because that kind of sets you up for the rest of the kit. So, on spawn, gain immunity. If this character has 3 or more Immortal X-Men allies, apply immunity to all Immortal X-Men allies. So that's been part of a little bit of their weakness, I guess. Especially like in war, if you have them on war defense, they can be kind of controlled easily right off the bat. So that's good. I like the immunity she's given out. Let's see, if she has 3 or more... Oh wait, no, we already covered that. If Cable is not an ally, and if this character has 3 or more Immortal X-Men, fill speed bar by 5%. Ooh, okay. So you could sub out Cable on the Immortal team for her and still get that boosting speed bar effect. Now, I was thinking about if we were going to drop somebody from the current Immortal team to put Rachel in, who would we do that? So I'll answer that after we get through the whole kit here. So stick around for that. So on enemy turn, if that character has speed up or stun, attack that enemy for 250% piercing and flip 3 positive effects and a negative effect. So that's pretty good. All right there, man. Even if they have stun, that's crazy. So interesting. Let's see. When an enemy gains slow, if this character has 3 or more Hellfire Club or Immortal allies, reduce that character's speed bar by 15% and apply trauma. So, wow. So you have Storm. If you keep Storm on the team, I don't think you want to drop her. That's probably not a great idea. Storm puts out that stun and slow to everyone with her special, her opening turn 1. So then Rachel, when they get that slow, Rachel Summers is going to rewind everybody by 15%. And then Jean goes, and she does her special. She'll rewind even more. So, wow. This is looking crazy already. We're not even into her abilities yet. Let's see here. Protector enemies cannot spawn with immunity or safeguard. So, if you have Jean with Rachel, then Gladiator's like completely shut down. Before, without Rachel, Gladiator will only get his taunt. His taunt would be removed, or he wouldn't be able to taunt. So, but he would still have that immunity, that defense up, I believe it is, a safeguard. So he was still kind of a pain. Like, you weren't really worried about him until he took a few turns, and he can do a lot of damage still. So this is great. Her basically just completely shutting him down. Support enemies cannot spawn with immunity and cannot gain speed bar on spawn. So lots of support characters out there cannot. So she'll remove that immunity. A lot of supports these days do have immunity, so that's a great part of her kit as well. If she has 3 or more Immortal allies, enemy characters cannot have their resistance increased by positive effects. So basically, defense up doesn't matter to her. She doesn't care. And then enemy characters cannot gain assist now. Wow, that's big too. Man, she's all these characters like Echo, like Lilandra, all rolled into one. Cable, all rolled into one. Gain 25% Drain. Okay, so she has Drain herself. And then she gives Drain to Hellfire and Immortal X-Men allies. Wow. What a passive. What a passive. Looking pretty promising so far. But let's see. Her turn 1 ability is going to be... Well, she'll have her special and her ult on turn 1. So let's read the ult first. Attack primary target for 500% piercing. Flip all positive effects into negative effects. And attack adjacents for 500% piercing. Clear all clear. Okay, so instead of flipping, they clear on the adjacents. Spread stun and all other negative effects from the primary target to the adjacents. Oh my gosh. So, I was thinking back to who you may want to replace in the team. I think I have my answer, but let's keep reading here. So, apply immunity to self and all Hellfire and Immortal X-Men. So, not only are they getting immunity on spawn, they're going to get it again with this ult. That's just crazy. On kill, fill speed bar for self and a random Jean Grey and a random Sebastian Shaw by 70%. Oh my gosh. Basically turning around and giving them almost another turn, another full turn, a second turn essentially on that. Wow. And this attack ignores defense up, so yeah. Kind of like in the passive. Cannot be dodged or blocked. Wow. That's insane. And 6/6 is a little high, but it's not like crazy high like some of the other characters we've had recently, the accursed characters or the Fantastic Four, the newer MCU characters. They have really high cooldowns. This one isn't as bad. It's still not ideal, but definitely not as bad. The special attack primary target for 400% damage. Okay, so this one isn't with piercing, so just normal damage. Flip 3 positive effects into negative effects. Man, reduce speed bar by 25%. Woo! Bonus attack, most injured enemy for 400% damage. Okay, interesting. So it's not an adjacent attack, it's most injured enemy. And reduce their speed bar by 25%. Spread stun again. And 3 other negative effects from primary to most injured enemy. Ooh, okay. So, if you're using them on offense, I would probably... I guess we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Here, towards the end. Let's get through the basic here. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So the basic attack primary target for 280% damage, apply defense down. Okay, that's good. That's another thing that the Immortal team was kind of missing, was a defense down. So, putting out more defense downs out there for Storm to just go ahead and clear the way when she hits her ultimate there. So that's good. Bonus attack, the enemy with the highest damage. Okay, interesting. So she's got a lot of smart attacking type abilities, I guess you could call it. And then the ISO attack primary target for 210% piercing, apply defense down. So, thinking on her ISO class, especially if we're gonna sub out somebody on the current Immortal team, trying to take that all into account. I personally like Striker on Jean Grey. I think she's a really good Striker. She's also a good Raider, but I think I like Striker better for her. A Striker on Rachel here might be actually pretty good too. So if you have Rachel Striker, Jean Striker, we're going to need some Raiders in there. Storm's going to be a Raider. Maybe you move Beast to a Raider? Maybe. Maybe. But yeah, I think Rachel would be a pretty good striker, at least on the Immortal team. We'll have to see the full Hellfire team, how they all work, and I'll have to play with them on the test server. So make sure you keep an eye out for that video. 124 speed, that's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's not bad for Rachel. Now, who do we take out of the Immortal team? I'm specifically thinking for Crucible. Now, I originally thought maybe Polaris, but because Rachel has the 5% speed bar gain, and she has the spreading of the negative effects on both her special and her ultimate, she'll spread stun on both of those abilities, by the way, which is insane. They've held this do not spread stun so close to the vest for 8 years now. 7 or 8 years? How long has this game been around? Something like that. That, not even... Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't think Hela even spreads stun. Venom doesn't spread stun, I don't think. So, even the older characters, but this is a really cool that they added this to her. So I'm thinking take out Cable, and you could use him on a different team now, because, you know, that extra speed definitely helps a lot of teams, a lot of different places. And then that way you have Polaris still, who will pull people together, and then you can help spread that stun even more. So Polaris will go after Rachel. So that's why I was thinking maybe you do the special first turn, but that 500% piercing here is hard to pass up on the ults. So either way though, both abilities spread stun. Polaris pulls everybody together, and then you can spread it to everyone, or quite a few, at least quite a few characters anyway. So yeah, there you have it. That's Rachel's Summers kit, all in one fairly quick video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down in the comments about Rachel. If you think her lore, her comic lore, kind of matches what they did for her kit. And until next time, make sure you spend those resources wisely, and we will see you around. And make sure you go check out ZKG's video on the last member of the Hellfire Club team. So go check that out. That video should be out tomorrow, so check him out as well.